Mhm. Dana Abercrombie, the Koalition. Thank you so much for speaking with me. Woof, this was heavy. This was amazing. This was an emotional roller coaster. It's very rare that we get to see, Black families, Black love. And in between those, horrific moments, there is Black joy that I love. And so I was wondering, where did you find the inspiration to play Henry and Lucky? Because this was heavy.
I think for me, I pulled from my own experiences of being them, of walking through the world as a Black woman, and I just kind of fused all of that into Lucky, and did my own research and saw my own, saw other people and heard of their experiences, and just kind of fused all of that into Lucky, because I wanted to play her as authentically as I could, so that people who could relate to her could feel seen, you know what I mean? And so it was really personal for me.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it was about making sure that, I have this character in front of me that loves his wife unconditionally, loves his daughters unconditionally, loves his family, wants to protect them, that it was written by someone who looks like me, and just making sure that I bring everything that I have, all the tools, all the experiences as a Black man that I've learned in my life, that some that I could extrapolate, and then some that I had to learn, right? Some that I had to speak to my friends who are actually African-American, who grew up in America, my cousins who grew up in America. I met a man who was an elder gentleman who grew up in the Jim Crow South and moved to Chicago. And it was about having all of that information and then using myself as a vessel to tell that story authentically. I read an amazing book called City Limits by Joss Sides, and it spoke about Los Angeles and about the African-American experience from the Great Depression to the modern day. And very specific to Los Angeles. And what that helped to give me was like a very specific feeling of where we were shooting. And so I could ground the performance in reality, and then take the amazing words that little Marvin had written and try to play them the best as I could, and make sure that I did the character justice, because at the end of the day, it's not about me, it's about the character.
Right. One of the most important scenes that I thoroughly loved was the pie scene. It says so much by not saying anything at all, and we can feel it through both of your emotions. I was wondering, as actresses, as actors, what is it like to play in that role without having to say much, but you have to deliver everything all at once?
I felt like it was very honest. It spoke to a lot of the experiences people of that time and people today, where they were going through all these horrific things on the outside, and they have to somehow play okay in front of the children at work, whatever. And so it wasn't very hard, I'll say, to show that, because I had a deep understanding of having to, show face but not be able to. I think it was actually very cathartic, because it was like, in that moment, you get to show that, and you get to kind of like have the moment where we do break down, where we can't hold it in anymore. It was the first time that you see Henry and Lucky kind of almost turn on each other. The pressures of what they're going through on the outside kind of affect their family unit, affect their marriage. And so I just thought it was very truthful, it was very honest, and it wasn't hard to understand nor play in that sense.
Yeah, you have two people that love each other deeply, right? And then the outside world has this effect on them that is making them do these things to each other that are almost like they're trying to hurt each other, right? In these moments, and taking things out of context, or looking at things through a different lens, right? In that moment, Lucky feels betrayed, right? But earlier on in the day, Henry doesn't want to betray his wife. What he wants to do in that moment is protect her, make sure that she doesn't get arrested, make sure that she's not taken away from the family. And in that moment, he had to make a decision. And he would have said anything to not let his wife get taken away. And these are the decisions that people are having to make during this time. They're making decisions to protect the family, but then it's upsetting his wife. So they're caught between a rock and a hard place constantly during this time. And I think the pie scene is where it comes to its peak.
Right. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.